Alright, we got that one. All right. Edit 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of the Shootin' Show, and we're so happy to be with you this week. We're equally glad to have you with us, certainly. We have an exciting new announcement to make. Now the Shootin' Show is going to be coming on nationwide 5 times a week. That's 5 different days of the week. You're going to be able to see the Shootin' Show. And this is going to open a lot of new avenues. Friends, we're going to reach a tremendous number of new people. We're now also on the Outdoor Channel. And the satellite coordinates for the Outdoor Channel are F2, Channel 3. That is the Outdoor Channel. Now, we'll be on the Outdoor Channel on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll be on Saturdays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and also on Sundays at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. So this will give you a lot more opportunities to tell your friends, and please, friends, if you would, if you're watching us on satellite, call your local cable company and tell them that we're available on the Outdoor Channel. And besides that, the Outdoor Channels have a lot of other really good programming, sporting programs that I know a lot of us are going to enjoy, certainly. Now, that's not going to change our Thursday night broadcast. Yes, we're going to continue here, right here, on Thursday nights on G4, Channel 23, just like we have been the whole time. But what this is going to do, it's going to enable us to reach so many more people and give them our message as gun owners, our message as Americans who want to keep their freedom. And yes, friends, the key to your and my personal freedom is right here. It's in our right to own and keep and bear firearms. Now, that's true. You know, the Second Amendment literally keeps the other 9 in place of the 10 amendments to the Constitution. Absolutely. Well, friends, we have to realize that we're not dealing with rational, normal people in the anti-gun crowd. These people are somewhat out of touch with reality, and the only way we're going to effectively deal with these people is literally to stop them, to literally take them out of office. And that's one thing we're doing with the Shootin' Show. We're reaching so many people in the population that don't know much about firearms, but are on the fence. They don't know what to think. They listen to the news media, the organized media on one hand, and then they hear some things from the NRA and other pro-gun organizations on the other. They don't know what to think. So we're going to help them out. We're going to travel around the country, as we've talked about before, and have our fun gun days, our seminars where we're going to get people out and shoot through our Shootin' Show Gun Club. And this is an opportunity. All you new people out there, you have a choice. Edit. And we'll try this again. Try it again. Edit 3. Whoops. Hold up, Bill. Edit 3, 2, 1. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and welcome again to this week's Shootin' Show. We have another great show for you. I know you're going to enjoy it. We appreciate so much everyone being with us. We're so happy to be here, and now some good news. Friends, the Shootin' Show is now going to be coming to you nationwide 5 times a week. Yes, indeed, 5 times a week. We're going to continue with our Thursday night broadcast for you satellite viewers, just like we are tonight. But also, we've been picked up by the Outdoor Channel. Now, the Outdoor Channel, the satellite coordinates are F2, Channel 3. Again, F2, Channel 3. We're going to be on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be on Saturdays at 10 o'clock in the evening Eastern Time, and Sundays 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, we're going to continue our regular Thursday night broadcast, certainly. But friends, this gives us a wonderful opportunity to reach so many more people who desperately need proper information about firearms. They need to know where we stand as normal Americans who are gun enthusiasts. And let me tell you what, friends, this is a job that cannot be done soon enough. We edit soon enough, and I'll change camera angle. Okay. Edit 3, 2, 1. You know, friends, it is so important for us to realize that we're not dealing with rational people. The anti-gun crowd in Washington and other places around the country, they're not rational. They're out of touch with reality. And the way to deal with them is, you know, there comes a point when negotiation ceases to be effective. And what we have to do, they've got to be stopped. We literally have to vote these people out of office. Right now, we've got to contact our U.S. representatives, our senators especially now. By the time this airs, the House may have already voted on the Brady bill. And this is ridiculous. It does absolutely nothing. It only penalizes those of us who are law-abiding citizens and gun enthusiasts who want to buy a gun. Why should we have to wait 5 days? You know, if we need to go out and buy a gun for personal protection, if some lady has been threatened out here and she needs a gun, well, my gosh, she could be dead by the time she gets her firearm. It is absolutely ridiculous. And you know, friends, this is only the first step. This is only something they want to do to literally disarm us, the American population. Whether it's this Remington nylon 66 and 22 long rifle, or this AR-15, or this Ruger Super Blackhawk single action, or this Coonan 357 semi-automatic pistol. Friends, it doesn't make any difference. These people are dead set to take everything that the American population has that shoots. If you don't believe it, all you have to do is look at what has happened in some of the European countries back before World War II. Look what happened in Germany. Look what has happened in England, a number of other countries around the world. And what they're doing, literally, like a friend of mine said the other day, it's just like a chicken, Johnny. He said they're plucking us one feather at a time. And that's true. Friends, that's why it's so important that we reach as many people as possible across the country. And you know, you can help us. You can join the Shootin' Show Gun Club, and you can help us. If you have a gun club that wants to sponsor one of our fun gun days, well, please get in touch with us. We've already heard from several gun clubs. We're going to be doing this by regions, and we're going to have a great time. We're going to get people out of their houses with their firearms. We're going to get them down there. We're going to say, look, here's how these things work. Here's how they work safely. Here's why you need eye protection and ear protection. These things have to be said. We've got to reach those numbers of people that are on the fence and don't know just what to think about guns. A lot of people out there are thinking about buying guns. A lot of women especially are buying guns, not necessarily knowing how to use them. Well, that's why our program's here. Friends, it has got to be done. All of the defensive work we've done in the past, all the legislative work, which wonderful organizations like the NRA have worked so hard to do, is not enough. We've got to reach the American public. We've got to reach those people out there in small town America, midtown America, even the people in the cities, and let them see why they should be careful with firearms. And for that matter, we need to tell them why some of them need firearms. And I do not agree, of course, with children carrying guns to school. We've got to tell these parents, you've got to get hold of your kids. You've got to see what they're doing. This is a message that cannot be under stress, believe me. Well, anyway, we've got a great show for you, and we hope that okay. All right. Edit 3, 2, 1. And we need to tell these people if they're going to have guns in their home, if they're going to have their children around guns, they've got to be, let me do that again, edit 3, 2, 1. And we've got to tell these people if they're going to have guns in their home, if they're going to have guns around children, they've got to be responsible. There is no substitute for being responsible, absolutely. Well, friends, we have a great show for you. And let's start off here. I believe we have a watermelon over here. I think a lot of us would like to see just what a 125 grain 357 bullet, a jacketed hollow point, moving at about 1,600 feet per second out of our Coonan 357. Let's see what happens when we shoot it. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. You know, friends, there are three kinds of people. Those people that make things happen, those people who watch what happens, and then those other people that wonder what happened. Well, you know what? As gun owners, we need to be among those people that make things happen. Because, friends, let me tell you what. If we don't stand up for our rights, who's going to? See? Who's going to if we don't? So anyway, let's check our watermelon here. Let's see that again. That's a little more like it. Okay, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, we're looking at a couple of single-action revolvers here. The one in particular we're going to look at today is the little mini revolver from North American Arms. And you can see, in comparison to our Super Blackhawk, it is really a tiny gun. And, of course, you can see the 22 long rifle as compared to the 44 Magnum cartridge. It's a drastic, shall we say, comparison. These are very well-made little guns. They're all stainless steel. We have been shooting one of these for several years now. Heck, the last one, or the first one I ever bought was probably, I suppose in the early 80s. But they're very functional. They are what we would call a limited purpose gun. This is not the gun I would choose to have as a first-line defense. However, it would beat the heck out of throwing rocks if that's all I had. It is primarily a backup gun, a very close range, as our target here, very close range backup gun. Really, that's what it is. And a lot of police officers, security guards carry these little guns. They're not probably for the beginner. Someone who is new to shooting, new to owning guns, this would not be the very best choice for a first gun for them, because it is so small. And you know, friends, all the rules of safe gun handling still apply to this little mini revolver. Some people call them derringers. They're really not derringers. At least we normally think of a derringer as a single shot or a two shot, certainly in the Remington pattern, a small gun. This is a 5-shot 22 long rifle. Now, these guns are available in 22 short, 22 long rifle, and also 22 Magnum. And a couple of the models they have will interchange cylinders from the 22 long rifle to the 22 Magnum. All you have to do is change the cylinder. Well, let's take a look at it up a little closer. Okay, edit. 3, 2, 1. Now then, friends, to give you an idea of the size of the little gun, you see that it hides, easily, literally hides in the palm of my hand. And as I was saying earlier, this may not be a good first gun for someone who's new to shooting, because it would be easy for them to maybe shoot their finger or something if they weren't careful. And realize this is a revolver. You still have the flash gap between the cylinder here by my thumb and the barrel, and you darn sure don't want to get your fingers around that flash gap, because it will sting your hands. But the way these little guns work, you put it on half cock, like so. and then you can press the cylinder pin, press the cylinder edit 3, 2, 1. Hold up, Bill. Edit 3, 2, 1. And the way it works, you'll press the little plunger here, the little detent, on the cylinder pin and take it out, and then your cylinder can come out for loading. As we can see, there are 5 holes here, and of course on the holes you have a notch literally between the holes. You have that little safety notch that your hammer can rest in when the gun is being carried, or in fact another way to carry it would be have the hammer literally rest over an empty chamber. So you do have an option though. These are safe little guns, and believe me, it is a little gun if you're just careful with it. Edit. Bear with me, Bill. And I'm going to set my camera, just let it run for a second. I'm going to cut it off. Now then, to load, just put in the individual cartridges like I'm doing. And we'll put in 5, of course. And we'll put in 1 more. Edit 3, 2, 1. And of course we put in 1 more bullet. We put the little cylinder back in and replaced our pin. Now then, friends, let's shoot the gun, let you see just how it recoils in your hand. Yes, it does have some recoil, and yes, it is loud. And it's if you have larger fingers like I do, it can be a little bit of a problem. It's not with practice. And we do have somewhat of a sight picture. You can see we have a front sight blade, and we'll look down the barrel there, and yes. Edit 3, 2, 1. Now then, friends, as I was saying, these are really close range guns. They're accurate enough for their intended purpose, but I can certainly see one of these as used. You can also, and believe me, these are still firearms now. You have to have, and you know, on the shooting show here, we never advocate breaking the law. And all gun laws, whatever they are in your local, as far as concealed carry, it also applies to this. They'll probably fine you just as much for this little gun as they would a much larger gun. So we advocate certainly obeying all local laws that we have to. It is still a real firearm, although it may look like a toy. This is another consideration. Around children, you really, really need to be careful with these guns around children, because a little child would think this was in fact a toy. So we definitely need to really watch where we keep these guns, and we need to instruct our children that no, in fact, this is not a toy. This is a serious firearm. Even though it may be tiny, it is still deserving of all safe gun handling rules. Well, we've got our paper target here, friends, and let's just see how it acts, what we can do with it on paper. And admittedly, yes, I am close, but let's take a look at our target there. Edit 3, 2, 1. Now then, friends, you can tell we shot all 5 times, and there are in fact 5 holes here in the target. So again, we're not talking about long ranges, but it's certainly adequate for its intended purpose as a backup gun or a close range defense gun. Edit, 3, 2, 1. And you know, another advantage these little revolvers have, friends, the tiny semi-automatics are somewhat more prone to jamming due to lint you might have in a pocket, or if a lady had one in her purse. And this another advantage being a revolver, if a 22 long rifle cartridge, which as we well know, they're rimfire cartridges, sometimes you may get a bad spot on the rim, where I say bad spot where there's a lack of priming compound, and all you have to do if you get a misfire is, of course, just cock it again. It is a single action revolver. You do thumb cock that hammer every time. But again, for their intended purpose, and we've had these guns on the show before, and they've all been very functional, very reliable little guns for whatever purpose they were intended for. They make a couple of smaller ones. Actually, they make a Mini Master, which is a sort of a semi-target gun, and you can really amaze yourself and other shooters by the accuracy some of their models have. This one, of course, close range backup gun, close range self-defense gun, but for that purpose, I'll tell you what, it's darn sure worth a look. The edit. Edit, 3, 2, 1. And for those purposes, get it in a second, Bill. Edit, here we go. Edit, 3, 2, 1. And for the purposes for which this little gun is intended for, it darn sure deserves a look. Oops, edit. Wash out this whole piece right here, the last piece. The North American Arms, 22 long rifle. Yeah. Edit, 3, 2, 1. This is from North American Arms, the 22 long rifle mini revolver. The gun and let it ride. Your hips carry the edit, 3, 2, 1. See how this works, friends. It's so simple. It just hangs again on the wide belt they send. You can buy with it if you so desire. But the butt of the gun goes, and what it does is, we've seen our good friend Jerry Grumman on TV earlier. It gives you a hand free to open a gate, to steady yourself, to move cobwebs out of the way if you're going through the woods or a vine, whatever else. And you just don't get the fatigue. Your gun is always right here handy. Of course, the muzzle is going to be away from your head. It's really a tremendous safety factor. And of course, if you want to carry a rifle with a sling or shotgun, whatever else, any slinged long gun, you can just slide the long gun holster around to the back, and it will keep it stable. So then you'll have both hands free, and you don't have to worry about your gun moving around and behind you or whatever else. This is such a great idea. You can walk along and you're not carrying the gun. You know, as they mentioned to us on the program a couple of weeks ago, or whenever it was recently, over a 4-hour period, a hunter carrying a 6 or 7 pound shotgun will literally lift or move with the arms and fingers on the hand 90,000 plus pounds. And it's really phenomenal, the weight that this saves your upper body. It carries it right again on your strong, on your hips, on the leg muscles that are designed to carry your full body weight. And of course, if you want to use the gun, it's that quick. It's just that quick out of the holster. Just, you know, it's that easy to do. It's just so simple, and you can have, again, right out and on target. This is one of the neatest things I have seen to come along for the shooting industry. And if you do use a long gun, friends, trust me on this one, you need one of these. We're going to tell you how to get one.
It's on. It's
okay.
Matter of fact.
All right, okay. Okay, friends, what we have here, edit, 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, we're going to show you a little demonstration. Hopefully I'm going to show you a little demonstration in bullet type effectiveness. Here is our Mini 14 and 223 Remington caliber, and we're going to shoot the water bottle on the right with a full metal jacket bullet moving at about 3,150 feet per second. We're going to shoot the water jug on the left with a soft nose bullet. And you know, I really can't recommend the .223 caliber for hunting game animals as large as deer. You know, of course, this is a military development primarily, and the military never designed these cartridges. I hate to say it like this, but I don't know how you'd say it better. The .223 was not designed to kill people. It was designed to wound people. It's not nearly the horrifically powerful cartridge that some of the anti-gun people, who, by the way, most of the anti-gun people know absolutely nothing about firearms. But anyway, so I can't recommend the .223 on game animals as large as deer. For something like coyotes, down is great. But again, you have to keep in realization the limitations of the cartridge at distances. So let's see here for a moment. Again, we're going to shoot the water jug on the right with the Full Metal Jacket military cartridge. Load it. Be sure and check my hearing protection because it is going to be loud. All right. You see, up close to a target, get the water and the trash off me. Up close, you see the effect of hydraulic shock. Anytime you have a bullet moving 3,000 or so feet per second, you're going to get a violent reaction from a fluid-filled bottle such as that. Now then, let's shoot the target over here with our soft nose bullet. Now, truthfully, of course, we know our gun's unloaded here. We just had two in it and the slide's locked back. You couldn't tell much difference in those two targets up close at distances we are. But out here at 100 yards across the stream over there, we've got two more water bottles. So let's run the same test out at 100 yards and see what that looks like. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. Okay, friends, we're going to shoot the target on the right, the water bottle on the right, with the Full Metal Jacket cartridge, and let's see how it reacts out at 100 yards. Get in position here on my bench rest. Or don't you up close on the water bottle? All right, going up to the water bottle now. You got me over there. Really didn't do very much with that Full Metal Jacket bullet. Realized that that bullet had slowed down quite a bit below that 3,000 feet per second, or 3,150 in fact. So you're not going to get the effects of hydraulic shock out there at 100 yards. Really, on a .223, you only see the effects of hydraulic shock up to 80, 85, 90 yards. So we're a little bit beyond hydraulic shock. All right, let's try the same drill, shoot the other water bottle with the expanding point bullet though, and see what it looks like. You still on them out there, babe? Do it, okay. Here we go. One hit. am I hitting, do you know?
High.
High? Hello? Could you tell?
High.
Still high?
Yeah.
Where at?
Come over to your right about half an inch.
Move it to the right?
Yeah.
Cut the camera off, lady. Ready?
All right.
Okay, my friends, you can tell we had a much more dramatic hit on the water jug with the expanding point bullet. So what you do, you let the bullet work for you. And again, if I'm going to shoot...
Start over. I just missed that part of it.
Okay.
I got the front end of the truck.
All right. Edit.
Okay, what?
All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, I put the gun on safe. In fact, let's go ahead and unload it. Now, I believe you could see, and you know, when you're unloading one of these guns, it's a good idea to, of course, certainly pull the bolt back slowly, but go and let that bullet come on out of there. Even if it goes on the floor, it's not going to go off. Just let it come on out, because sometimes there are accidents when people unload semi-automatic guns. If you don't let the gun work like it's supposed to, sometimes the primer may hit the ejector and could cause an accident. So the best way to unload a semi-automatic gun is let the shell fall, say on a carpeted area, on a bed, and just go ahead and pull the slide back and just let that bullet come on out and then pick it up. Just a safety tip there. Okay, as you could see, our effect on the water bottle on the left was much more dramatic than the one on the right, because we know this is empty. We let the expanding point bullet act and take advantage of the soft lead. Now see, your bullet's still moving well over, say, 2,500 or so feet per second, but you just don't have that hydraulic shock that you would have up close with the 223 bullet. So again, that's to give you an idea, certainly for varmints and small game. By all means, any game animal deserves a very quick effect of the shot. So certainly you don't want to just wound an animal and let it run off and die a slow lingering death. You want to kill it, get it over with right then. So we certainly recommend on any sort of game hunting, certainly use the expanding point bullets. And you can see certainly even on water jugs, you can definitely tell how the energy transfer takes place out at 100 yards. Okay? All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, here we are with our group shot with the Sabo slugs out of our rifle choke tube. And I'll tell you what, it looks pretty good. Literally, the whole point of this is to show how your shotgun can become a pretty darn good and extremely powerful rifle out to and including about 125 yards. Of course, we're only shooting from 75 yards away. We have 3 shots, so what we're going to do, I've circled them here. Right what it is, and let's measure it. Now I'm going to measure from the center of the 2 holes that are furthest apart. Let's see what that looks like. Friends, that's a 2-inch group. So that's outstanding performance for any shotgun slug, certainly. But it gives you an idea. That's really outstanding performance. So especially scope sighted, because if you were out hunting, you wouldn't have the benefit of our sandbag rest, of course. But that's really outstanding performance from any shotgun, for that matter. So that gives you an idea of what the performance is available. So let's look at our standard rifle slug out of our smooth choke. Let's see what it did. All right, we in? Okay. Now then, friends, you'll see our holes are considerably further apart, although it's still not that bad a group for the range we were shooting. Well, let's see what it looks like here. Center. Oh, I don't have quite enough measurement there. Okay, that's a 5-inch group. In fact, almost 5 1/4. So let's write that down. So literally you're talking about, with the sabot slug and the rifle choke tube, you're talking about shooting into a group half that size. Although that's not bad performance. Shotguns with slugs really will perform better than we realize. It really comes down to your ability to sight the gun, I suppose. But that gives you an idea of just what they will do. It certainly gives those of us who like shotguns, and you know, you may not be able to own very many guns. Personally, I don't have very many guns. I have a few, but you may not be able to own a rifle and a shotgun and some other things. So you can literally take a shotgun and have it do almost everything, certainly within its ranges. Edit, 3, 2, 1. You know, friends, while we're talking about shotguns, you never want to forget that, of course, the shotgun, the repeating shotgun that is the ultimate home defense gun. And you know, it's a shame we even have to talk about this, but people have been violent against each other, I suppose, from the very beginning. From back at Cain and Abel in the Bible, they've been violent against each other. And there's nothing to be ashamed of when we start talking about the ability to go on and defend our homes. Because we live in strange times now, folks, as you well know. These are times certainly that none of us have ever faced anything like. And home defense is definitely something we have to think about. You know, a couple of weeks ago or some time back, we shot a semi-automatic rifle and a lever action rifle on aimed shots at about 30 feet. And it took us about 2.7 or 2.8 seconds for both of them, in fact, for aimed shots. Well, let's see how long it takes us to shoot the shotgun. And we have bird shot in the gun. And you know, for a city dweller or an apartment dweller, a bird shot is definitely what we should think about, because the power you have against a violent opponent up at real close ranges is the power you have available is extreme, yet you're not going to injure someone in an apartment or a house next door. So definitely for inside home defense, bird shot is definitely the way to go. If you have longer ranges, well, then you might take a look at buckshot or something like that, or certainly slugs for if you're in an area, isolated area, something like that, and you need extreme power. But for home defense, most of the experts recommend bird shot at close ranges, because they will do what has to be done. So let's look at the speed of this pump shotgun as compared to the semi-automatic rifles. I have our pro timer in place here. Be sure my hearing protection's in good. And we're going to take the same 3 aimed shots at about a little over 30 feet, in fact. So let's go ahead, we'll punch our timer. It will give me the cue to start. See what it looks like. Edit. I didn't have it loaded. And the timer went off. That's fine. Bill will go to black. Maybe you got me in the, can you see me in the target's good? Am I still in it, or won't you be able to see them?
Yeah.
Okay. semi-ready position. Well, it took 1.58 seconds. So you can see the extremely rapid capabilities. And we had an extra shell there. We unloaded our gun. We know it's empty. So you can see the extreme speed that you can shoot a shotgun. And as I'm always saying, and it's only because it's true, I'm your average shooter. And with a little practice, your average, any of you could do at least as well as me with a little practice. So again, shotguns are such versatile tools, in fact, that can do a variety of things. We can hunt with them, bird hunt, squirrel hunt, deer hunt. You can certainly, it's the ultimate snake gun for poisonous snakes. If you live out here in an area like we do that has a lot of poisonous snakes, but it's also the ultimate home defense gun. And with bird shot, almost anyone can shoot it and not get too bent out of shape on account of recoil. So definitely probably the single most versatile firearm. Okay. Okay. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Second intro for later on this week. Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, and welcome again to this week's Shooting Show. We have a great show for you. We have some interesting guests I know you're going to enjoy, and we have some great gun features. Remember, we are free to local cable companies and local TV stations, so if you're watching on satellite, please let your local cable company or local TV station know that we are out there, we are available, because you know what, friends, in times like these, we need every viewer that we can get, because we need to explain our side of the story, coming from shooters rather than politicians or some other people who really don't know anything about guns, who are trying to legislate us. So, as I like to say, without further ado, let's let another shooting show begin. Edit. Earmuffs.
What are you going to do?
Wanna shoot?
You going to throw it up and shoot it?
Huh? You wanna throw it up and shoot?
Okay,
That's
but where
right.
at?
Go to Black Bill.
Huh?
Put your earmuffs on, baby.
Okay, wait a minute.
I'm gonna throw this up here.
Well, let me make sure I can get it on camera.
Now back it on up.
Back up before it'll go.
Yeah.
1 minute. Okay. Alright. Don't fly too high.
We'll throw it up over there.
Okay. Ready?
Ready?
Ready.
Okay. All right. Mini 14, edit. 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, I'm holding one of the best deals on modern semi-automatic rifles, and of course this is the great Ruger Mini 14. And today we have two of them down here on the range, thanks to our good friends at Britain's Gun Shop in Shreveport. And we have another matching Mini 14. Both of them are in stainless steel, but this one in the closer to you there is the ranch rifle. And basically, just looking, you might not see many differences between the basic Mini 14 and the ranch rifle. Essentially, you have a difference in rear sight. The ranch rifle is shipped out with scope rings. It's more easily scoped than, say, the basic Mini 14 is. And also, the ranch rifle has a flip up and down rear sight, which we have replaced. I like to shoot a lot with open sights, and we've had this gun for several days, and we got a sight from the Williams gun sight company. This is a Williams aftermarket, I suppose you'd want to call it, but it's a receiver sight. And what it does, it really lets you take advantage of the capabilities of the ranch rifle. If you don't want to use a scope, it mounts easily in the same place where the original flip up / down factory sight from Ruger and where it was. It's just really excellent. They're real easy to zero, and you can darn near shoot with a scope with one of these fine Williams gun sights. In fact, let me say a word about them now. The good folks at Williams Gun Sight Company have a tremendous catalog. They have all sorts of products that a lot of us need to be aware of. They have all sorts of scope mounts and scopes and target sights, receiver sights. They have shotgun sights. In fact, what you need to do is you need to get one of their catalogs and just see the tremendous array of products that they make. And of course, they're all reasonably priced. So we're going to do that. They've even got an 800 number here I believe we can get up for you. So let's think of Williams Gun Sights. They're very nice people. We do appreciate them sending us this sight for testing on our ranch rifle. So we'll tell you how to get in touch with them. Okay, now then, edit 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, one other difference between the ranch rifle and the regular Mini 14, the ranch rifle has a slightly different recoil system. It has a recoil buffer that I believe Ruger has patented, and believe it or not, most people don't think a 223 has much recoil anyway. Well, they don't, but they have a little. But the ranch rifle, believe it or not, has a little bit less recoil, in fact, than the standard Mini 14. So that's really about the only difference. If you want to hunt varmints with the gun and you want to bring your scope back on target maybe just a little bit quicker, well, the ranch rifle does have a little bit less recoil. I would think, though, that the standard Mini 14 would probably be certainly useful for most of us. It just depends on what you intend to do with the gun. These are very fine hunting guns within the capability of their cartridge, and we're going to show you a little demonstration a little later about cartridge capabilities of the 223 of the soft nose versus the full metal jacket bullet. But these guns are extremely reliable. I tell you what, if you want a semi-automatic rifle, friends, we better start thinking about getting these guns, because you know, a lot of people in the government now want to shut off the manufacture and sale of semi-automatic rifles to us, the public. Now, we don't agree with that at all, but they may do it. As I've said before on other programs, these people are further along than we realize. And you know, I don't think we'll see a confiscation law anytime soon. Of course, the people in California didn't think it was going to come to that either, but now people that own guns like this are, as I understand, supposed to have registered them by now or done something with them, and I don't think they've had very good compliance with the law. You know, the problem is when the government starts taking extremely useful guns like these away from us, you're going to have a tremendous illegal gun traffic or gun trade. And you know, if they control the flow of firearms as well as they control the flow of drugs, well, you know, I think we'll have more guns than we've got now, because it's ridiculous. When people see a need for something, certainly something that can protect your home and family and your life, a lot of people are going to look real hard. If they can't buy a gun legally, well, they may look to other means. So it's an unworkable proposition, and these people do not realize really what they're up to. They want to disarm the public, and it's just not going to happen. You know, the only people who will be disarmed are the honest citizens anyway, and the honest citizens aren't going to cause trouble. And then the only people left with guns are going to be the criminal. And I tell you what, they'll have a field day if it happens. Anyway, we need to think seriously. If you're going to be purchasing a semi-automatic gun of any type, whether it's an AR-15 or even a semi-automatic rifle, a .22 rifle, or semi-automatic shotgun or handgun, you darn sure ought to think about doing it pretty quick. You can still get the extended magazines for these guns. This one is a USA magazine, and we've had good luck with USA products. We have a number of their magazines for things. There are several companies that make Mini 14 magazines. You can't get the Ruger extended magazines anymore due to, I suppose, pressure from the government. They stopped selling extended magazines. They just ship the guns with a 5-round magazine. Well, a lot of us out here would prefer 20 shots instead of 5, so they would be there if we needed them. You can still get these magazines. So, as I said earlier, friends, I would sure think about it. If I had a purchase planned anytime in the near future, in the next few months, I would darn sure try to get one of these guns if I wanted one, because the government may shut it down. Well, back to our subject. These are extremely accurate guns. We have done some scoped accuracy shooting at 100 yards with our ranch rifle here, and it will put a 3 shots, it'll put a total of 3 shots into less than 1 inch out at 100 yards, which I think for a short carbine type gun like this, that's excellent performance. again, within the limitations of the cartridge. Really, on whichever one you'd prefer, the ranch rifle or standard Mini 14, you pays your money and you takes your choice. For my own use, I prefer the standard sight model myself. Of course, we have the Williams sight, which has really showed what this little gun will do with open sights. And again, they're not very expensive. So let's do some long-range shooting with the Mini 14 in just a moment. But tell you what, let's do. Let's let you watch the recoil, shall we say, up close and personal, and see what you think. All right, we'll take 5 quick shots. Got a slightly different camera angle on me. All right, edit. 3, 2, 1. All right, friends, we have our standard Mini 14, and to tell you the truth, I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference in recoil or not, but you can darn sure feel it just a little bit. So let's load the gun. We insert the magazine, of course, in the magazine well, and it goes in at a little angle, and be sure it's locked in tightly. Pull the bolt handle all the way to the rear, and you know me, let it go. And of course our safety is applied. So let's take a few quick shots and just let you look at it in recoil. See, that just didn't take long at all, and just doesn't have much recoil at all. Well, we'll let you look at the ranch rifle now. Take our magazine out, and we'll unload it, safety on, and then we can pick our shell up off the ground. That's the safest way to unload one of these guns. All right, you know it's unloaded. Take our ranch rifle. The drill is the same. Insert the magazine. Pull the bolt all the way to the back. Let it go. Same drill. Don't know if you can tell the difference in recoil or not. It's a little bit. But very, very fine guns, certainly, for what they are. They're just excellent bargains. These guns are in stainless steel, and who knows what the life of a Mini 14 is if properly cared for and shot with any kind of sense. And I'll unload it quickly and pick up our empty shell. Now then, friends, these guns are designed, certainly you can shoot them fast, you can shoot them slow, but the barrel life, a lot of it is going to depend on how you shoot the gun. The 223 is a high pressure cartridge. You're running probably 50+ thousand pounds per square inch. It's quite a bit more intense a cartridge, say, than the Russian military 7.62 by 39, and it does heat a barrel up rather quickly. That barrel's pretty warm now after 5 shots. So it really will depend. If you take, say, 5 or 10 loaded magazines with 20-30 rounds each out to the range, and you literally burn through them, you're not going to have, or shoot them, shall I say, at a very rapid pace. You're not going to have as good a barrel life if you do that a lot. If you take a few shots and give the barrel time to cool down between strings of shooting, certainly it'll last longer. Regardless whether you shoot it one way or the other, these guns do have a very, very long lifespan to them. And I really don't know what they are, but I know they're extremely well made, they're extremely durable and rugged, and with the proper magazine, if you get, that's the only thing you may find some manufacturer out there whose magazines maybe aren't as good as some others, but that would really be the only limitation I would know of on reliability on these guns. With a good magazine, they're just about as reliable as a semi-automatic gas-operated gun can be. Okay. Whew. All right, friends. Edit. 3, 2, 1. Now, friends, we want to talk just for a moment about 22 semi-automatic rifles, and I have my shooting cat here. So if you see the table move, my cat's down here trying to help me, I guess, rubbing around on my boots. Anyway, we have a couple of examples of 22 rifles. This is the tremendous Ruger 1022, which is one of the very best guns of its type. But we also have another one down here with us today, and this is the great Remington 552. And both of these guns have been manufactured for many, many years now. And yeah, my cat's helping me there. for many years, and they're just two of the absolute finest 22 semi-automatic rifles that money can buy. They are different systems slightly. Both of them are turned as blowbacks, but the Remington has an underbarrel tube that you would retract the tube here, and the cartridges go in a little port here on the side of the magazine, and they're very simple to load and extremely reliable. Now the little Remington here, I say little Remington, it's just no 22. Most of them are not very big guns, but the Remington will shoot shorts, longs, and long rifles, and of course is a proven system, a very fine, accurate gun. The little Ruger, and I say little because it is little, it's not a very big gun, certainly. Edit, 3, 2, 1. Go to black, come back up. The Ruger is a different system. It is a magazine fed. It has a detachable box magazine. It's a rotary type magazine. It holds 10. This Remington holds, I don't know, 16 or 17, somewhere there, of the 22 long rifle. Now the Ruger will only shoot 22 long rifle cartridges, and I don't know if one has an advantage over the other, but there are extended magazines such as this one from Rowlands made for the Ruger, and you know, you can have several of these loaded and in your pocket, and you can do a lot of shooting. Many times on a creek bank when there were several, maybe we came across a group of cottonmouth water moccasins. I'll tell you, I would have loved to have had a little semi-automatic 22 rifle with a whole bunch of bullets in them, because I tell you, when you're facing poisonous snakes, I don't think you can have too many shots. So certainly not in 22 long rifle. But both of these are terrific guns. They function as reliably as can be. Let me say this: if you're going to purchase or you have a semi-automatic 22 of any description, I would suggest for hunting or certainly for a defensive situation, always buy a better quality ammunition. At some of the discount houses you can find promotional ammunition, and the thing is, the way 22 cartridges are made on the promotional ammunition, sometimes your priming compound may not be quite as strong, or they may not be quite as finely inspected as some of the higher priced 22 long rifle ammunition. So for reliability, stay away from the bargain price stuff. Go with a higher quality shell. And most of the manufacturers do make real inexpensive 22 ammunition. And if you've got a revolver or you don't care, if you're just out here plinking, it's fine. But for serious business, if you have to depend on your gun, always go with the better quality 22 long rifle ammunition. So let's do something that this 22, let's go ahead and insert this 30 round magazine from Rowlands in our 10-22, and let's just do what these little guns are designed to do. Let's shoot it. I'll be enough for a while. Great fun, and we can certainly recommend. Our gun is empty and on safe. Definitely, they're a lot of fun. They're excellent hunting guns, and remember, we may lose our rights to own this type of gun. So if you're going to be buying a semi-automatic, I would certainly not wait around a long time before I did it. The government may stop us from being able to buy these guns. They're a lot of fun. They're great teaching tools for younger shooters, for new shooters. They're economical to shoot. You can practice, say, with this 10-22 like you would for, you can practice for a gun, say, such as your Mini 14 with this little gun. They're just great fun. They're inexpensive, and I think everybody ought to have one, every decent citizen anyway. So remember, the government may close in on us, so we highly recommend both of these guns, but I'd get one. I wouldn't wait around. Okay? And that's true.